Hi, my name is Hyounsoo Lathrop with Coldwell Realty. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about home buying process in Minnesota. I love helping people buy their dream home, but what I did notice is not many people know what to expect in terms of buying their homes. Now, let's go through a home buying process. Home buying, it's like going through a maze. You have to prepare yourself for getting the mortgage and search for the right home, making an offer, go through the next step, and until the closing. First of all, what's really important is making sure that you know your credit. If your credit is not ready to get a mortgage, you might have to repair your credit before you go for search for the right home. I say this is the step like you are checking your wallet before going out for shopping. And you need to get pre-approved. Depend on your jobs or your history of your financial backgrounds. It might be different, and it is very important to work with a reputable local lender. And also making sure that you do not want to purchase a home that as much as you approve for, but more importantly, how much you are willing and comfortable spending monthly. So I always say make sure that you have rainy day funds after buying your house. We also want to talk about what is the must-haves and what's your wish list and why are you buying. Because some of my clients are buying their house after selling their current home. I want them to think about, is there something you can achieve by renovating your house instead of selling and buying? And once you know the location and the school district and your wants and needs, that's gonna narrow down quite a bit. And then you wanna find an agent you wanna work with, somebody that you can really trust. I recommend checking their reviews from their past clients and go through all the paperwork so that you know what to expect. Next, understand the market. Is it buyer's market or is it seller's market? It's been seller's market for the last few years. Seller's market means there are fewer homes on the market for sale and a house sells very quickly, and you might have to offer more than the asking price to get the home that you want. And the seller might dictate the terms. And we might end up facing the multiple offers. Multiple offers, the seller will look at the price and the terms. And that's when it's also important to work with the reputable lenders. And of course, you get only one chance to present the offer, and they will look at the net price and the terms. And then we'll go through the search. I recommend a Home Spotter app. I find that one is more accurate than a lot of other apps out there. And we will use Northstar MLS to check the homes, and it will set the auto email. So when the home hits the market, it fits your criteria, you automatically get the notification at the same time as we agent get it. And once we find a home that you like to look at, we will make a showing request through showing time. And then we will find the perfect house. And of course, there's no such a thing as a perfect house. I say 80% right, 10% you can change, 10% you can live without. And we have to think about what are the things in this house are not perfect, what are the things we can change, what are the things we can't. And then we will write a purchase agreement. Of course, we will discuss in advance and write it on. I will write it on behalf of you. On the purchase agreement, we'll write how much is the earnest money, which is typically 1% of the house price. If you are building a brand new home, the purchase amount, earnest money will be different. Some builders will request $10,000 or some request $5,000. But if you're buying an existing home, it's often 1%. And we'll write the purchase amount and the percentage of cash and financing. Are you putting 5% down? Are you putting 20% down? Are you using conventional loan or FHA loan? It's going to be all written on the purchase agreement. And the closing cost, you could ask the seller to pay the closing cost. But remember, seller always look at it as a net price. Net price is a purchase amount minus any seller closing cost assistance. And closing date is typically 4 to 8 weeks from the day we write the offer down. When we write an offer, a lot of times I send an email for you to sign. Of course, we can meet in person to go through the paperwork, but if you're at home, think about the house a little bit and then decide to make an offer. And this is what it's going to look like. Click here to sign. You'll click. And then awesome buyer, your name goes there. You accept your name. And then you will click start to the process of signing. It's going to show you where to sign exactly each steps. When you're done, you're going to click complete signing. And then it's going to come to me automatically. Once we get the offer accepted, next step will be inspection. Inspection period is usually 5 to 10 days, and buyers are paying for their own inspection because buyers are the one who want the inspection done. And I also highly recommend doing the radon test done as well. It's extra cost, but I think it's worth money to make sure that it's safe. A purchase agreement is contingent, but remember the inspection is not for cosmetic flaws. It is more for safety or structure. Anything is negotiable, but there are typical things that people ask and typical things that sellers don't agree. But it's worth checking. And what's interesting is sellers think their house is perfect, but inspectors will always find flaws even to a brand new homes. Once the inspection period is over, the lender will send an appraiser to check the value of the home. Roughly about $450, and might be waived if you put down 20% or more in some areas. So we want to check the lender about it as well. Of course, you need a home insurance. You want to bundle with your car, and this is something you have to have, obviously. Let's see. Next is a title company. Title company is the one who makes sure their title of the house is safe, and there's no lien against house, and they will get the paperwork ready for the closing. Lender's final approval. Once all these steps done, right before the closing, lenders will make sure you are still with your job and there's no hit on your credit. Because of that, there are a few things you need to make sure. I put down here, do not make any large purchases, do not open or close a credit card, do not book an expensive cruise trip, obviously do not quit your job. All funds for down payment and closing costs need a proof where it came from. No cash deposit without a trace. I'm talking about this as not the money coming from your job coming to your bank account. It's more like, okay, I had a cash stacked up in my closet. I decided to put some money in my bank account. That's not going to be able for you to use it for down payment or the closing costs, because they need to know where the money came from. Final walkthrough. We are going to be doing final walkthrough right before the closing to make sure the house is in a good condition and all the work from the inspection addendum was done correctly. And the closing, lots of signing. It takes about an hour. All buyer must present unless you get it notarized in advance. What you will need to bring, of course, the ID, cashier's check for down payment and closing costs, and personal check as well. And you get the key and celebrate. I like to always talk about beware of fragile wiring. You know, there are people out there who like to steal money or take advantage of you. Making sure to not wire any money anywhere without getting the talking on the phone with a title person or me. Be aware. And once you buy the house, you are gonna get a mail saying, congratulations on getting your house, and the government recommends for you to own the deed of the house. If you pay me $75, I'll send you the deed. Those are all the scams. Those, you are gonna get that. I get that call all the time. My clients ask me, this looks real, should I do this? No, you already got the deed, or the title company will send you the copy of the deed with no charge. What to expect as a buyer? You might be nervous, anxious throughout the process. The lender will frequently request the paperwork. It's not lender might, they will, because the rules are tighter here and they want to make sure there are no unauthorized person getting the loan. I also put down here as everyone in your life will have opinion during and after the transaction with a good intention, but each market is different, and even the same city depends on the time and the situation. Something to know in advance. How about a cost for buying and selling a home? Closing costs for the seller, closing costs for the buyers. The buyers pay the closing fee is about 3% of the home. If the home price is higher, the percentage goes down a little bit because there are some fixed fees. There are lender fees, title company fees, and miscellaneous fees by the government. Escrow, you need the money for escrow, insurance, and the tax. Administrative fee for the real estate broker. That's a lot of things people don't realize that they are paying. But if you are using VA loan or using relocation service, the fee might be waived. So you want to check on that. Closing fee for the seller, it is up to 6 to 8% of the home price because seller pays the commission for both buyers and the seller's agents. And they also pay the title company. They also pay the government fees from the government, administrative fees to the real estate broker as well. And then they have to pay off the mortgage balance and the interest at the closing. If you have any question, I would love to help you. My name is Hyounsoo Lathrop with Coldwell Realty. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye.